2 a.m. You hear something outside, maybe a car, maybe the wind. Your heart is already hammering before your brain finishes the thought. You didn't decide to be afraid. Something older than you did. Something that's been making that decision every single night for 2 million years. That fear isn't a glitch, it's a fossil, and it lives inside your body, encoded into your nervous system right now. In 1924, a 3-year-old child died in what is now South Africa. Researchers found the skull decades later and noticed 2 puncture marks through the eye sockets, perfectly spaced to match the canines of a leopard. This child wasn't a tragic accident. This child was lunch. And for millions of years, that was the story. Not humans as hunters, humans as prey. The world in which the child died was not a world built to accommodate us. It was a world built to eat us. The saber-toothed cat, Smilodon fatalis, carried 11-inch canines and weighed around 600 pounds. Its bite was designed to puncture throats, specifically the throats of bison and camels. It didn't chase. It waited near water, then exploded forward at 30 miles per hour, 1 strike to the neck. Done before you heard it coming. The short-faced bear, Arctodus simus, stood 12 feet tall when upright and weighed close to 2,000 pounds. Unlike modern bears, it was a dedicated meat eater, built with long legs capable of sustaining 40 miles per hour across open ground. Cave hyenas ran in packs of 20 or more, with bite forces around 1,100 pounds per square inch, enough to crush bone to get at the marrow inside. They hunted at night, when early humans could barely see. Dire wolves moved in packs of 30. Cave lions were 25% larger than any lion alive today. And humans? Slower than chimpanzees, weaker than chimpanzees. Our closest relative is 3 times stronger than an adult human, has actual fangs, can climb 30 feet in seconds, and still gets killed by leopards regularly. We couldn't see at night. We couldn't smell a predator from any meaningful distance. We were upright, which made us visible from across a plain. Our infants screamed constantly and couldn't walk for a full year after birth. By every biological measure, we should have been a brief, embarrassing footnote, prey that didn't last long enough to matter. The fossil record tells a different story. Every predator I just described is gone. Smilodon, extinct 10,000 years ago. Cave lions, 14,000. Arctodus, 11,000. We are here. So what actually happened? Start with the shoulder. Not claws, not teeth, a shoulder. Around 2 million years ago, something changed in the anatomy of Homo erectus. Researchers at Harvard, using motion capture systems to study college baseball players, traced this shift backward through the fossil record. 3 specific anatomical changes occurred: a more flexible waist, reduced rotation of the upper arm bone, and a shoulder socket angled outward rather than upward, as it is in apes. Together, these turn the shoulder into a slingshot, stretching tendons and ligaments as the arm cocks back, then releasing stored elastic energy in a fraction of a second. The fastest motion the human body produces. A chimpanzee throws at roughly 20 miles per hour. A human throws at over 90. More importantly, a human can throw from 30 feet away, and a predator has no answer for that. Smilodon evolved for ambush at close range. Arctodus evolved for pursuit. Neither evolved to deal with objects arriving at speed from a distance. The moment humans started throwing with accuracy and force, the calculus of every encounter shifted. The prey had range. The predators didn't know what range was. But throwing doesn't help when you can't see. For most of human prehistory, nightfall was a deadline. Cave lions and cave hyenas owned the dark. Their eyes were built for it. Ours weren't. When early humans walked upright on African savannas, they had mediocre night vision with no biological way to change that. Except they found a different way. In Wonderwerk Cave, South Africa, archaeologists found evidence of controlled fire dating back 1 million years. Burned bones, structured ash layers, and repeatedly used hearths. A campfire creates a safety zone roughly 30 feet in diameter. Inside that circle, predators will not enter. It is hardwired into them. Fire means danger, fire means pain, fire means stay away. Even modern lions in Africa avoid it. Fire gave early humans 3 to 4 additional hours every night, previously owned by something else. Time to make tools, time to plan. And a meeting point, a reason to stay together, to talk, to accumulate knowledge that could be passed forward. That compounding advantage was invisible to any predator. No predator can learn from a generation it never met. Around 15,000 to 30,000 years ago, wolves started appearing at human campsites across Eurasia. Not to attack, to scavenge the edges. The less fearful ones kept returning. And over time, as researchers at the Natural History Museum in London describe it, these wolves began guarding the sites they depended on, alerting the humans inside when something approached. Think about what that meant in practice. An animal that can detect a predator by scent from 400 meters away. That sleeps lightly. That raises an alarm before anything reaches the fire. No other species in history has done this, recruited a former predator into its own defensive perimeter. The wolves didn't lose anything. The humans gained an early warning system that no amount of human vigilance could replicate alone. But the deepest weapon, the one that actually saved us, was something else entirely. In 2001, archaeologists in Dmanisi, Georgia, unearthed a skull dating back 1.8 million years. The individual had lost all their teeth years before death. The bone had already resorbed. No teeth means no ability to chew raw meat, no ability to process most food without help. This person survived for years after becoming, by any strict biological standard, a liability. Someone was feeding them. Someone made the choice repeatedly, at real cost, to keep this individual alive. No predator does this. A lion with no teeth dies. A cave hyena with no teeth gets abandoned. A human with no teeth gets taken care of. In Shanidar Cave, Iraq, a Neanderthal skeleton from 60,000 years ago, one arm healed from an old break, one eye was damaged to the point of likely blindness, and severe arthritis throughout the body. This individual couldn't have hunted, couldn't have fought. He lived to approximately 40 years old, carried by his group through seasons he couldn't have survived alone. This isn't sentimentality, it's a strategy. A group that keeps its injured members retains knowledge, retains the person who remembers where the water source dried up 3 summers ago. The person who survived the last encounter with cave lions and can describe exactly how they moved. The elder who has made enough mistakes to know which ones kill you. 5 humans with spears and a coordinated plan could kill a saber-tooth, not because any one of them was strong enough, because someone drove the animal toward the cliff, someone waited at the bottom, and someone cut off the escape. Wolves hunt in packs by instinct. Humans hunted in packs with assigned roles, communicated in language, and adjusted in real time when the plan failed. Around 400,000 years ago, at Schöningen, Germany, wooden throwing spears were crafted with deliberate aerodynamics, balance for distance, weighted for accuracy, designed to kill from 30 feet away. These weren't improvised, they were engineered, and they represent a shift. Humans had stopped running from predators and started hunting them. 50,000 years ago, humans left Africa. They moved into Europe, into Asia, then across land bridges, into Australia, and eventually the Americas. And wherever they arrived, the megafauna began disappearing within a few thousand years of first contact. Saber-tooth's gone, cave lions are gone, short-faced bears are gone. Woolly mammoths, giant sloths, terror birds, continent by continent, the apex predators of the Pleistocene collapsed after millions of years of dominance. Climate played a role. The debate continues among researchers, but the pattern repeating across every landmass, on every continent humans reached, is too consistent, too perfectly timed to explain by weather alone. The prey had learned to hunt, and the predators had no framework for what they were dealing with. Here is what lives in your body right now. When you hear a sound in the dark, and your heart accelerates before you've consciously processed it, that's your amygdala doing exactly what it has done for 2 million years. Research published in Frontiers in Psychology demonstrates that the human brain processes evolutionary threats, movement in darkness, sudden shadows, eyes watching from across a space faster and more intensely than modern dangers like car accidents. The wiring runs deeper. It bypasses the thinking brain because, for most of our existence, thinking took too long. The fear of the dark is not irrational. It is the memory of every night a cave lion owned the hours before dawn. And here's the other side of that same coin. Sit next to a real campfire, wood burning, open air, actual heat. Notice how quickly something settles in you. The fire doesn't just warm the body, it signals something 1 million years old and deeply reliable. The circle is defended, the dark is being held back, it's safe to exhale. 1 million years of that association doesn't wash out in a few generations of electric light. Your ancestors spent 2 million years being hunted. They lost children to leopards and could do nothing but grieve and remember and try to teach the next one what not to do. They gathered at fires on the edge of darkness and listened for sounds that meant something was coming. But they also fed a stranger who had lost their teeth. They kept the blind Neanderthal warm through winter. They threw rocks at things that were faster and stronger, and when the rocks didn't work, they made spears. And when the spears needed to be better, they improved them, and they taught their children from that improved version, so each generation started a little further ahead. Every predator's evolution has undergone a specialization, a single advantage tuned for specific conditions. When those conditions shifted, the advantage became a trap. Smilodon's fangs were perfect for the prey that existed then, in the ecosystems that existed then. The fangs didn't get to adapt. The cat went with them. Evolution gave humans something different. Not a single weapon. A process. The capacity to look at a situation that should kill you, identify why it's killing you, invent a partial solution, and pass that solution to the next generation. So they start from the partial solution rather than from nothing. That inheritance is not comfortable. It comes with the anxiety at 2 in the morning, the heart that pounds before the thinking starts, the amygdala that never fully convinced itself that the dark is safe. The debt doesn't disappear just because the predators are gone. But you are here, they are not. And the oldest thing inside you, the part that still wakes up when a branch breaks in the dark, it knows exactly how that happened.